I'm Africah Harrigan for Legit TV. The Committee on Government Services and Housing held a meeting at the Capitol building in which committee members received testimony and voted on 3 bills. One of the bills included Bill number 30-0087 to change the Government Employee Service Commission's board's composition of its members. You're the sponsor for Bill number 30-0087. Can you give us more background information on the bill?
Yes, Bill number 30-0087 is a bill that really talks about the composition of the GESC board, which is the Government Employee Service Commission board. And the board right now does not have a full complement of board members, and this bill seeks to find a better way of really addressing the full complement of the board and having a full complement seated.
With that being said, committee members held the bill in committee. Was that the right decision to make?
And I would say yes, at the moment it was. And the GESC, for those that may not know, is really the board that deals with the health insurance for the government employees and retirees. And a lot of time what we've seen is the GESC would sit down and work on an insurance package for the government. And by the time it comes on to us in September, we have already done the budget process and done the budget markup and really considering the final version of the budget. However, with the GSC sending down the insurance package late September, it normally have an impact on the budget where the number in the budget for insurance is not sufficient. So we'll have to still turn around either in October or November and find additional money to balance the budget. So I think with the problem that we're having and not having a full complement of the GSC board, we held the bill, but we would sit down with the board members and really look at the best way we can finalize the accomplishment of this board so we can move forward and have seamless insurance as we go forward in the future.
You're the sponsor for Bill number 30-0330. Can you give us the details on the bill?
Sure. The concept of that bill, particular to farming, we recognize that as a community, the farming community don't have the amount of land available to engage in real serious industrial sized farming. And currently our farmers, those who have land through housing authority, can only get a 5-year lease. In order for you to make farming production profitable, you need to invest. You need investments. Funding institutions, along with the USDA, will not give out any funding to any leases with less than 25 years attached to it, because those instrumentalities have recognized that funding and return on investment takes time to mature. So what my bill is entitled, proposing to do, is to create an environment where those farmers who currently have leases can get an extension on their lease so that they can begin to apply for funding and through the USDA or any private funding institution, and they'll have the proper documentation to support their lending opportunities out in the various funding instrumentalities out in the community.
Ultimately, committee members voted to hold the bill in committee. Can you please explain why?
That move was predicated on the fact that as of last week, I've been in discussion with the Agriculture Department along with the Housing Authority, and we believe that we can engage in a swap of land as opposed to relegating it to a legislative process. In this way now, we can get a bigger piece of the land because there's a lot of land that the Housing Authority owns that's very hard to build on because of the incline, because of the terrain and the location. However, farmers have been very creative in the Virgin Islands, and now with a greater portion of land available, we can even see more farming as the Housing Authority and the Agriculture Department engage in fair market value land exchange.
What is the purpose of Bill number 30-0370?
Well, as you know, there are certain retirees or older retirees who really don't have access to computers, and basically all their form of communication is through the mail. So what I'm trying to do is to give these individuals the option to receive their statement through the mail. I've spoken to quite a few. Some of them came to my office, and I heard their plea to please get them by mail. It's very hard for them to want to access a computer or to even go to a place like the local library to get access to a computer. So I'm trying to accommodate them. I know that when I spoke to Mr. Nathan JRS, he said that the cost will be very low, very minimum. And of course, they're going to have certain criteria. Not everybody can apply for this option, but it's just to accommodate some of our retirees who really do not have access to computers.
Referencing Bill number 30.0370, can you share your views with us on whether or not an option is needed to create a paper annuity check stub or to have it in digital format?
It would seems on the surface that the progressive and method would be preferred. However, being that I'm a social worker by profession, I understand that there are many of our elderly who don't have access to technology today. They don't have computers at home. Some of them don't even have children living in the Virgin Islands who can carry them through and assist them with the various types of technologies out there today so that they can retrieve their payment process or their pay stubs. So I would like to see something done. I think that the responsible thing to do is ideally those seniors who are capable and have demonstrated the capabilities, let's work with them. But those who are 90 years old, 85, to subject them to the newer way of doing things, I don't know if that's the best method, so I do believe that I can support this measure because at some point the next generation of seniors would be technologically advanced. But we have a lot of people who are just coming into the technology age, and I don't know if making them or subjecting them to progressive methods would be the solution at this time.
As chairwoman of the Committee on Government Services and Housing, in your opinion, how do you think the meeting went today?
Well, I think the meeting went well. We actually held 2 bills in committee and passed one to the Rules and Judiciary. Unfortunately, V.I. Housing Finance Authority Executive Director Adrian Williams was unable to attend, even though she sent a letter answering some of the questions to what we asked for her when she came into the meeting today. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to attend, and I was able to read some of those concerns on the record and look forward to when the availability of when she can come to Government Services and Housing to kind of report some of the challenges that she's facing, especially the LBJ project. You know that these tenants were asked to move out of their housing area, I think on December. My staff and I, as being the chairperson for Government Services, we've been working diligently with VI Housing Finance Authority and even VI Housing Authority to try to see how we can make this transition easy for these individuals. I know there was a recent emergency which one of my colleagues wanted answers from Adrian Williams, but unfortunately due to an emergency she was unable to attend. And Executive Director Robert Graham also sent a package. He was also unable to be here with the transfer from the federal government back to the local government. He said that he was unable because he had a prior meeting scheduled with the federal government. So these individuals, even though they were not here today, they sent some kind of update to let us answer some of the questions that was asked for today's meeting. And we look forward that when we can have an available date to meet with them in Government Services, we'll be able to go in depth and answer some of these questions. But I just want to let the individuals know that I continue to try to address whatever situation as it pertains to housing to make sure that these individuals are treated in a fair and comfortable way. Even with the Section 8 program, you know, I've been working very hard with Mr. Graham trying to see how we can be able to help these individuals who are have not been able to get their vouchers that were promised vouchers, and because of lack of funding, they're not able to make that transition to get on the Section 8 program. So I've been working diligently. But today's meeting, it went productive overall. We got a lot of comments from Mr. Herman from personnel, and he was not able to attend the last meeting, so he gave his testimony today, which we were able to ask a lot of pertinent questions in pertain to the bill sponsored by Senator Graham. Senator Payne also brought a bill that was held in committee in regards to VI Housing Finance Authority's farmland going over to individuals who are interested in farming. So it was interesting conversation, and also with GERS, who in the past legislature they had a bill where all individuals will not get a paper trail, paper check. So we have some elderly in the community that still request their checks on paper. And I think this bill would help to address a lot of these individuals who are elderly, who depend on this paper every month to see their income. And as I made an example, my grandmother, who would not have been interested in direct deposit or going on the computer. So, this bill assists these individuals who cannot access a computer, and they can still request a paper from the Department of GERS. And just like to say, it's been a productive meeting for me today.
Thank you for tuning in to Legit's coverage on a meeting held by the Committee on Government Services and Housing. You can follow the happenings of the legislature and subscribe to us on YouTube at LegVI1. Follow us on Twitter at LegislatureVI, and like us on Facebook at 30th Legislature. I'm Africah Harrigan for Legit TV.